Hello, everybody. Brenna here.
And I'm Gabby.
And this is the Mystery of Everything podcast. Woohoo!
Yay!
I've been told I can't do the drum roll noises anymore.
It's so hard to edit. Sometimes I just have to cut you out when you make the sounds. But we're back together this week. Well, technically not together. We're recording from our houses, but it works.
I was told that, so our coworkers today were like, damn, Brenna, that episode by yourself, you roasted Gabby. And I can't, you all have to know that I can't remember anything I say after I say it. So I was like, what are you talking about? I'd never be mean to Gab. And they're like, yeah, you burnt her biscuits. I don't think I was mean to you, Gab.
I don't remember what you said.
I was just very jealous. Well, I told him, I was like, Gabby does the editing. If I was mean to Gab would tell me. But I think it's just because I described in detail how jelly I was that you were in Italy. One day I will be with Gab doing all kinds of things. And maybe, just maybe, we'll go to Tasmania, Australia.
Why?
Maybe after this episode.
After this episode?
Perhaps.
Okay, I'm in.
So let's dive into it. For those of you that clicked on this episode, you know, today we're going to talk about the Tasmanian tiger. Yeah. So today, fun episode. This is going to be super fun. I've recently been binge watching the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World series as of late. So when I stumbled upon an article while at work a few days ago about how the brain of the Tasmanian tiger has been studied from a sample and published for the world to see, how could I resist jumping on it? I mean, you know, you all understand. And if you don't understand, you're going to after this episode because they're just so fucking cool. They're so cool. So according to an article published by the University of Queensland in Australia, there is a 140-year-old sample of a Tasmanian tiger brain that has survived 2 world wars and made its way into their laboratory.
Wow.
But why do we care?
But
you know?
How did it survive?
It's just survived through history through 140 years. It's been moved places in different locations.
That's so fucking cool.
And it made its way into their laboratory. So, you know, why do we care? That's one of our questions. What was a Tasmanian tiger? Another question. Why did they go extinct in the first place? Are they even truly extinct? We're going to cover all of that. They actually, quote unquote, went extinct not that long ago. September 7th, 1936 is thought to be the day the last Tasmanian tiger took its last breath. In a zoo located in Hobart, which is the capital of Tasmania, Australia, for those of you who do not know. Some theories suggest the tiger didn't go extinct until later into the late 80s, or even longer than that, or after that, I guess you should say. And as of 2024, boy, have I some proof, or seen some proof that made me question everything I now know, but we're going to dive into that too. So I don't want to ruin the episode for everybody. I'm not going to ruin the episode, but I was already researching this before I knew there was like updated stuff. And then I stumbled upon something posted 2 weeks ago on the tube, which is what I'm calling YouTube now. It'll catch on.
The tube is the subway in London.
No.
Okay.
The tube is the YouTube on the interweb. And it's going to catch on. It's going to catch on.
Why can't you just call it you on the U? No, that sounds wrong.
On the U.
I don't love that.
I was looking it up on the U. One of them will fit. And then everyone will be like, did you watch that video on the tube? And you'll be like, Brenna. Like a little sitcom. You'll shake your head and stare at the camera like a 90s sitcom.
I do that all the time anyway.
All right, let's begin. The thylacine. Binomial name, Thylacinus cynocephalus. Thylacine. The thylacine is commonly known as our friend the Tasmanian tiger or Tasmanian wolf. It is an extinct carnivorous marsupial. And when I hear the word marsupial, I think of an animal with a pouch. Like our beloved possum, the only marsupial in America, or like the kangaroo, which are cute and beloved, but also fucking scary. I've seen the videos of them punching glass and stuff. They're terrifying.
No, they're just a baby with
But-
anger issues. Every kangaroo is named Kyle.
Or Jackie Legs, and I'd like to say hello. All right. 330 species of marsupials in the world. 2/3 being found in Australia. You all have everything. Literally everything. And it's everything scary too. Like whenever I was younger, I always wanted to move to Australia. And I was looking up flights to Tasmania before me and Gab got on here to record. One, because I'm going to be the one that finds the Tasmanian tiger. But then I got to looking and it's like 28 hours.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go next year for a wedding, and it's going to be a long-ass flight. So I was like, Steve, we're going to spend like a month because I need to go to New Zealand as well.
You got to space that out. Yeah.
And I have no interest in being in the sky for 28 hours. Like, that sounds horrific. Even if you have the upgraded seats, your back's
it would
gonna
have to
hurt.
you'd have to be like 2 days. And there's always stops. You can't just straight fly it, but we'll get into that later too. My mama actually went to Australia and stayed for a little while, and she said it was super cool. And she scuba dived in the Great Barrier Reef.
Ooh.
I know, and I would love to do that, but I don't think there's going to be much of a barrier reef left if I don't go soon.
Yeah.
You know, but 2/3 of marsupials are found in Australia, with the other third being found mostly in South America. But to my surprise, not all marsupials have pouches, which other people are like, duh, Brenna, that's common sense. Well, it's news to me because I don't see a lot of marsupials every day. I used to. May he rest in peace, Skeeter. If you all have followed along with me and Gab for a while, you know that was my pet possum. May he rest in peace. But the only one in America has a pouch, so I just assumed marsupial meant you have a pouch. And we're going to do a quick interjection for some marsupial knowledge. You all didn't ask for it, but it's what you get. This knowledge is brought to us by the Australian Museum website if you would like to learn more. Marsupials are born in what is thought of as an incomplete state. They are tiny, hairless, with their hind limbs only partially formed. Their forearms are developed, though, and their toes have sharp, curved claws, which paints a terrifying picture for me. I do not like it. Marsupials will use these sharp claws to climb their way into their mother's pouch, which is quite the journey considering it's many times the length of their tiny little 1-month-old bodies. For a few days before they are born, they get their nutrition from a short-lived placenta. The rest of their nourishment will come from their mother's teats inside the pouch to allow it to grow and develop further. While some species of marsupials do have a pouch to protect their young, other marsupials have just a fold, not big enough for their young to fit inside. They also have an extra pubic bone called the epiphanic bone to support the pouch. Some marsupials also have webbed toes, a mutation known as syndactyly. We see this with koalas, and I'm sure to some people this is just common knowledge, but it's not for me. Don't come for me. I was just yearning for some learning and thought I would share it with you guys.
I think it's cool. They have like a built-in baby carrier. You don't have to like pay $300 for a baby carrier. It's free $99.
Free $99, and they can fit all kinds of puppies in there, or joeys, I guess you'd say.
Unrelated, why are baby carriers so expensive? Like, why? Even like if it's the wraps, because I had a wrap, and it was like $200. It was gifted to me, but it was cloth.
I'm just going to have to hand me down it. If Bryn ever does pop out a few joeys, then maybe I can use my stomach fold to carry them
Oh my
around.
God. Thanks for that visual. I really love it.
Let's hope not. Oh, shit. So that was our interjection for marsupial knowledge. The more you know. All right. So diving back into our, I don't know what you call our Tas Tiger episode. The Tasmanian tiger falls into the category of Australian marsupials called, I think it's called dasyurids, because they are meat eating. Thylacine was native to the Australian mainland in the islands of New Guinea and Tasmania, It died out in New Guinea and the mainland of Australia around 3,600 to 3,200 years ago before Europeans arrived. We theorize this could have happened due to the introduction of dingoes, because the earliest records we have to date them are around the same time period, but the dingo never reached Tasmania. Tasmania is an island. And I wanted to say something, but so used to, or I'll just say it, but then I'm going to apologize after I say it. Used to, back in the day, I used to go around when I was little and we would be like, oh, the dingo ate my baby. Super fucked up. But then I learned that's actually a real thing and that really happened to a woman. And then the woman got put in jail because the police thought that she killed her baby when in reality a dingo ate her fucking baby. So not only did she lose her child, but she got put in jail. And that story is horrific. And I don't know why it was made fun of on TV because that is so sad. Childhood Brenna thought it was a joke and it's not a joke. Did you ever hear about that, Gab?
Nope. Only
when
from
you were
you.
younger?
Nope.
When you were younger, you never said the dingo ate my baby.
No.
And that is a piss poor attempt at an accent. I'm so sorry. Like, don't come for me. That was childhood, Brenna. We are not the same person now. You live and you learn. Okay. So dingoes. The dingo never reached Tasmania. When bounty hunting was introduced in the 19th century, thylacine were seen as a threat to livestock of farmers and were hunted to what we presume was extinction. The thylacine was a sandy yellow color. It was known as a Tasmanian tiger because of the dark stripes that ran from the top of its back to its tail, usually 15 to 20. It was also nicknamed the Tasmanian wolf because of the resemblance it shared to a medium to large dog or wolf. It had a large head that resembled a dog or wolf, but its legs were little short legs. The name thylacine comes from the word thylakos, meaning pouch, and "ine," meaning pertaining to. So both sexes of thylacine had a pouch, and at first I was like, hell yeah, we love co-parenting. We love supportive daddies. But that's not the case.
They didn't help out with the kids? That's messed up.
Well, I mean, I guess we don't technically know. Some people know. Some people are still alive during the time period that the thylacine was alive.
So why did the men have the pouch?
Well, I'll tell you. So the ladies, of course, used their pouch for raising and protecting babies, while the males used theirs for a protective sheath to cover their genitalia.
Okay. At least it's covered. I'm not judging too hard. Like, yeah, they could have helped out with the kids, but nobody wants to see all of that. Respectfully.
No, nobody wants to. Well, you got to protect it. You know, how are you going to make more babies?
Oh my God.
If you don't protect the jewels, so to speak. Another cool thing about the female pouch is that it was back opening. So located underneath their stomach, similarly to other marsupials, but opening from the back rather than the front. Which I think that's kind of cool. That's a little different, you know. Like kangaroos, there's opens from the front, and possums, it's like a slit down the middle. I don't know if you've ever got a good look at a possum tummy. Where I used to work, there was a possum named Gary when I was a caregiver, and me and Gary were close. I would pick the ticks off Gary's ears because they have trouble getting to their ears. So possums will get a lot of ticks on their ears. But me and Gary were so close. We hung out every single night on the porch. And one day, after eating, possums are super clean animals. So after eating, they will like lick their hands and rub their face off and clean themselves. And Gary was cleaning himself. And then Gary bent over and started licking her babies in her pouch. And Gary was a woman. And then Gary became Gary Lynn. Because what else are you supposed to do? But I would sit and watch her clean her little babies in the pouch. And it's like, it is a vertical slit instead of horizontal. And then you can see little baby feet and little baby possum tails popping in and out until they get big and then they get on their mama's back, which is super cool. A little possum knowledge for you. But mama thylacines could have litters up to 4 pups, and they relied on their mama until they were half grown at the least. They had very stiff tails and jaws that could open an unusually wide amount. Their ears were short and stood up straight, but they were more rounded than pointy, and they had 46 teeth. Holy canola oil. That's a lot of teeth. Usually in a large sum of species, we see that the females are bigger. Obviously not always, because like lions, etc. But I was surprised to learn that the males were larger than the females on average. A little fun fact for you. And Gab, I don't know if you can see the picture I posted at the very top of that beautiful little thing, but look at that tail. Is that not a little bit of a creepy tail?
Yeah, it looks like a little whip. It looks like it could be a whole other animal. It looks like it's a little elephant trunk coming off of their butt.
Like it's not supposed to be there because it's so stiff.
Yeah.
You remember Tigger the tiger?
It looks like they could use it for that. Was Tigger Tasmanian?
He would bounce on his tail. I don't think he was Tasmanian, but he would like bounce on it. You know what I mean? Like he used it to get around.
Yep.
Unless I'm making that up in my head.
No, he did. He did. I was a huge Winnie the Pooh fan as a child. Don't tell anyone.
I feel like they could do things with that tail.
Like beat someone to death.
I don't know. Like evolutionarily speaking, what do you think that tail was used for? Because it's stiff.
Maybe they use it to, like other people can hook onto it. They use it as rope.
Yeah, like their young would maybe bite it. Well, they got a pouch. I don't know. So, and the female, if you scroll down, the next photo I have is a female thylacine with her offspring in the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. in 1903. Look at that beautiful mama with her baby. And I'm going to post all these pictures on Instagram too. They really are beautiful creatures. So look pretty.
They look like dogs.
They do look like dogs.
The Ridgeback, is that what they're called? Those dogs with the stripes on their back?
Yeah. They do kind of look like the Ridgeback. And you know, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? You know, why don't we pay paradise and put up a parking lot?
I thought you were about to start singing that song.
Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? Pay paradise and put up a parking lot. And then Gabby in the background going, ooh, pop, 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 ooh. And it's even better because I'm like speaking into a microphone right now with my headset on, so it's a vibe. If you all want me to start a YouTube channel where I just sing to you, then I can do that too.
We should we could just put these videos up. Like if we recorded these videos, we could easily just put these on YouTube.
Well, we have to put it a better angle than what I have going on right now.
We should try that next time if we have more time. I think it'd be easy to do.
We should do it, and people will probably. I feel like you all might want to see what I'm doing right now. I'm doing some hand motions, and only Gabby can see it. Is it obscene? You all don't know because you can't watch, but maybe next episode you can. It'll be so much fun. It'll be tons of fun. It's like we're all in this together. All right, back. I went on a tangent singing spree. So previously I mentioned that they were carnivorous. They preferred to eat kangaroos and other marsupials, along with small birds and rodents. Some reports say that they would hunt sheep and poultry after Europeans colonized the area. We don't know the accuracy or extent of this theory, of course. I don't think it's true. Well, I mean, they are carnivorous, so like I feel like opportunity calls. They're hungry enough. Yeah, they're going to eat something. But I also think it was kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Not a coup. Anyways, I don't think that's the truth. I don't think farmers really had anything to worry about. So, yeah, they were nocturnal or semi-nocturnal. You know, sometimes you'd see them out in the day. They were slow-paced but stiff in movements. And some reports say that they hunted alone or with a partner, while other sources I found said that they hunt in packs. So as far as that goes, I'm really not sure. All right, Gabby, you see that picture there? And again, it'll be on the gram, but that is a thylacine. God, look at their fucking teeth. And in front of it is a chicken.
Ooh, nice.
Yes, you're observing?
Yep.
Now, looking at that photo, does it look like that thylacine is just chilling in nature to you?
No, it's outside someone's house.
Outside a house. Okay. Or perhaps maybe you think it maybe could possibly be like in a cage or something?
Maybe, but that's a shitty looking zoo.
See, it is a shitty looking zoo. If it is one, I don't know. I'm just popping out theories here. So there were a series of photos taken in 1921, like the one I was just describing to Gab, that have caused a great deal of controversy over the diet of the thylacine. These images show it as a predator of domestic animals. These photos were taken by Harry Burrell and published by the Australian Museum. They show a thylacine with an animal in its mouth, a chicken, causing an American named Dr. Gregory to call for Australians to protect their unique native fauna by getting rid of the species.
That's fucked.
It's a little fucked. That's why I kind of think is staged a little bit, in my opinion. I don't know. And again, my opinion, I don't know shit. So there were 5 photos in total. The photos were taken at the same time in the same place. We know that much. And the only photos ever to be taken of a thylacine with a chicken in its mouth. This didn't bode well for the Tasmanian tiger, obviously. After all, their numbers were already declining due to a government bounty on their heads. There is large academic debate over the validity of these images. Were they set up? Is it a live animal? Is it a taxidermy setup? It appears the animal is in an enclosure to me, but, others might disagree. I don't know. Is it raiding a hen house? Was it fed the chicken in question to get photos?
It wasn't even eating it, really. It was looking at, in this other photo, it's eating it.
In this one.
But
if you scroll down.
Looking at it like it didn't know what to do with it. Because I feel like if it had just killed it, it would have it in its mouth.
And the second photo that you see here, it's like zoomed in to where, like the first one, you see a fence or some kind of,
House.
Could it be outside of a house? You see some kind of something. And then the second photo is zoomed in. So, There's even a debate over when the photos were taken and where. Some think the photos are of the last surviving taina male in captivity at Hobart Zoo before his death in 1936. Others think the photos were taken in 1912 or closer to the 1920s. Perhaps at Harry Burrell's property at Manila NSW. Who knows? We do know that the last skeleton of the last thylacine is in Tasmania Museum, but we don't know the location of its skin. So no skin, no markings to match it to the photo. What the fuck happened to its skin?
They might have skinned it. Even if it died of natural causes or someone hunted it, they might have skinned it just to have.
No, it was the one in the zoo. The last known thylacine that we know of died in the Hobart Zoo.
They might have just taken it as a prize.
But then it says we don't know the location where its skin went. Like that poor baby, which I would love to go. That's sad. I would love to go see its skeleton just because science is cool. History is cool. But yeah. So we can't for certain say, oh, this is the last thylacine. We don't know. Although there are pictures of the last thylacine while it's still in the zoo. So why couldn't they use those as comparisons? I'm just spitballing here. The thylacine only became a protected species 2 months before the death of the last thylacine in captivity. 2 months.
Oh, they really hated that thing.
Which is so fucked. How cool. It's like a dog with a pouch.
I think just like back in the day, people did not care about animals. Like they would just kill them all. You remember bison? I think it might have been bison.
Yeah,
they would just shoot them from the trains. Like literally just for fun. They didn't want to eat it. They didn't care. It was just sport. It was just, that's what they did.
Ooh. Oh shit. I have to say something really fast. This does qualify as a tangent. And I'm sorry, but it is super cool and we have to throw it in because you just said bison. This is to do with, it's to do with bison. So I was reading a thing on Facebook earlier. Has nothing to do with Tasmanian tiger. But Blue Babe is a bison that was 50,000 years old, and it was a mummified bison that they discovered in 1979 in Alaska. And you could see like claw marks and shit on it from where it was killed by a North American lion, which is also extinct now. But so apparently the lion like ripped open its rib cage and ate some of its insides, but it froze so fast that a lot of the meat was still in there. Now, some of the middle gut turned rancid, but its neck muscles and shit, that meat froze so fast that it was still fresh. So what scientists do and what scientists fucking do, in 1984, a group of paleontologists cut a chunk of its neck muscle off and made it into a fucking stew. And they ate that 50,000-year-old bison's neck muscle, and they said it tasted delicious.
Honestly, I'd eat it too.
I would too, because how could you not eat meat from a 50,000-year-old bison's neck muscle? And it said none of them got sick or anything.
I'd have to do it too.
Circling back to the theory that the thylacine might not be extinct, we know that the animal was no longer in New Guinea and the mainlands of Australia, whether that is due to dingoes, human hunting, or perhaps the introduction of dogs. I don't know. But could that mean that they're still in the wilderness of Tasmania? There is new analysis that claims 1,237 sightings or observations of the animal have been made since 1910. So could it have lasted longer than previously thought? The analysis suggests that the species was around into the late 1980s. The research was published in the peer-reviewed journal Science of the Total Environment, and it took all of the previous observations mentioned and gave them a score based on the quality from reliable records backed by a physical specimen, whether alive or dead, to sightings by experienced men of the bush to glimpses by the untrained eye.
So what if they're just hiding? Like they were like, okay, these people keep killing us, so we're just going to go off grid.
Oh, you just wait, girlfriend. You just wait. That's what I think. But who am I? What am I?
Let's go find one.
No, I for real want to, in all honesty.
Well, no,
I really do. And you're going...
Because if we do...
You're going to want to even more.
It'll be like a whole thing, and people might treat them worse.
No, people want... Well, you're going to find out. You're going to find out. People no longer hate it. People are obsessed with finding it and wanting to bring it back. So a professor at the University of Tasmania named Barry Brook was a lead author of the study and has been working for 5 years to try to determine the timing of thylacine's extinction. By looking at records of confirmed kills, sightings, or captures by past hunters or wildlife professionals, you could make an assumption that the extinction date ranges between 1940 to 1970. But Barry didn't just want to throw out the sightings from later years, so he made the model to where they were included, but heavily downgraded their likelihood of being genuine. They used this approach on observations and sightings up to the year 2019, pushing the extinction date to the late 1980s into the early 2000s. He states there were regular, credible sightings until the 1960s. But of course, as the years go on and there are less and less people who have actually seen one in person rather than just pictures, you know, what are you going to do? There was a park ranger in 1982 named Hans Narding, who told his bosses that he had stood for several minutes with his torchlight fixed on a thylacine. Based on Brooks' findings, the most likely location for the last thylacines were around Waratah, somewhere in the middle of the northwest of Tasmania. They were officially declared extinct by the International Union for Conservation of Nature in 1982 after many failed attempts throughout the years to find them. Although some people cling to the hope that the species is still alive today, statistically speaking, there is less than a 1% chance of the animal still existing somewhere. But in the words of Brooks, it's hard with observational science to rule anything out. And I am here for you, Brooks. I don't think it's a 1% chance. Fuck statistics. I think they could still be out there in Tasmania.
Fuck
and
statistics.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Everybody taking their biology statistics class. Biology for the natural sciences, statistics for the natural sciences was horrific. It wasn't great at all.
My teacher was amazing, though. Like, she actually made it in a way that I understood it. And for that, I salute you.
My teacher was not supposed to teach that class. And then she ended up just curving it because she was never there on time because she, quote, was not a morning person. Me too, girl.
I feel her. I'm not a morning person, and I got written up for it. So here we are.
Can you say that on here?
Am I allowed to say that?
You're about to get written up again.
Well, I just did it. I said it. Let it be known. Hopefully none of them listen to this. I've said far worse things on here, I think.
You have.
We're going to dive into the fun stuff now, though. Research articles. Whoop, whoop.
Yay.
Fun to some. Not to all, but whatevs. A research article by the name of Clade-Specific Forebrain Cytoarchitectures of the Extinct Tasmanian Tiger. Sounds fun, right? It's by Elizabeth Haynes, Evan Bailey, John Nelson, and Rodrigo Suarez. So we've discussed how similar the Tasmanian tiger is to either candid through physical characteristics like foxes or wolves, but how similar are their brains? Well, this research article gives us an idea. They were able to gain access to a century-old
histologica.
Gabby said it, I'm not going to say it again. Preparation of the brain of a thylacine and uploaded high-resolution microphotographs to an online repository for public access. The public has access to this, and it is very cool to look at, and everyone needs to go look at it. I'm going to describe it, but go look at it for yourself because it's so cool. Through looking at detailed quantifications of cellular features, they revealed that their brain was very typical of carnivorous or scavenger marsupials and actually did not resemble that of candids, even though they look so similarly externally. So, yeah, you might think, oh, it looks like a fox, it looks like a dog, it looks like a wolf. As far as the brain goes, no, it doesn't. It looks like a scavenger marsupial or carnivorous marsupial. I just think that is so cool. This suggests an independent evolution of traits and a corresponding non-uniformity of similarities by evolutionary convergence. Convergent evolution being where two unrelated organisms evolve to look or function similarly because of the comparable niches they fill in their environment. Just take a moment to absorb that in. Because I think it is very cool myself. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe you're like, Britta, that's not cool at all. I think it's cool.
I love evolutionary phylogenetics and all of this jazz. That was like my thing in college for a while there where I did a lot of research.
Good, because I'm going to have you explain something in a minute.
No.
But first.
I don't do well explaining stuff on the spot. I'm sorry.
Well, if you can't, then we'll skip by it. And I even say that in the thing. I'm like, if Gab doesn't know this, we're skipping by it. So let's go over the meat and potatoes of the article. I'm going to read direct quotes, boys, so bear with me because we all know how excellent I am at this. Start quote. We imaged coronal sections of the thylacine brain across its entire rostrocaudal extent with olfactory bulbs to the spinal cord at high resolution and zoomable to single cell resolution that can be freely accessed on, they inserted a link here. Timeout. So the link that they have goes to brainmaps.org. And this website is so cool. If you want the link, it'll be in the show notes. But it's so nice of them to share this knowledge with the world. Kudos to them. Time back in. We continue by annotating its surface anatomy and internal white-gray matter subdivisions based on brain landmarks and nomenclatures for marsupials and eutherians, with an emphasis on the forebrain. As in all non-eutherian mammals, the thylacine brain lacks a corpus callosum and instead has an enlarged anterior commissure. The degree of cortical folding is substantially lower than other mammals of equivalent-sized brains, such as kangaroos or foxes, but more pronounced than the relaxed daisiomorphs Tasmanian devils. In fact, the rhinal fissure, which borders the neocortex and olfactory cortex, is deep and more ventrally located in thylacines than Tasmanian devils, in line with more gyrified brain species, likely reflecting a more tangential expanded cortical sheet in thylacines compared to other small-sized carnivorous marsupials. End quote. Do you all understand any of that?
I hope they did.
I hope you all understood it. Basically saying their brain doesn't match that of kangaroos or foxes, but then again, it's like more pronounced than Tasmanian devils. So it kind of isn't a fit. It's not a fit. Below, I have, you all can't see it. You will see it if you go to the gram. Below, I have a photo from the article that shows the macroanatomy of the thylacine brain compared to other representative species. The first image, image A, shows the coronal section from the thylacine demonstrating similar gyrification to the closely related Tasmanian devil, which is listed as B in the image, a gray kangaroo listed as C, and compared them to a more gyrified example in the Eutherian candid red fox listed as image D. Images E and F are modified versions of century-old illustrations of the thylacine brain seen from the medial surface. Image G is a three-dimensional reconstruction of the thylacine brain based on 36 rostrocaudal coronal sections with annotated sulci on the lateral view. A lot of that I don't care about, but the image is very, very cool comparing thylacine brain to Tasmanian devil, grey kangaroo, red fox. I do not see much of a similarity. Definitely not to a red fox. Looking at the image and comparing it to a red fox or a kangaroo, no. Tasmanian devil, somewhat, but it really is in a league of its own. I also included a photo from the article that shows mammalian brain gyrification versus brain volume corrected by phylogeny. And of course, I will post these pictures to all the gram. But the section A of the image shows a phylogenetic generalized least squares regression of the relationship between the log 10 transformed GI and log 10 transformed brain volumes of 34 mammalian species, mammals, 34 mammal species. We got 3 monotremes, 7 marsupials, and 24 eutherians. Fuck, that's a mouthful. They're color-coded by body mass. Regression lines for eutherians are in red, marsupials are in blue, and they show distinct slopes and intercepts. The section B shows a cladogram used for phylogenetic least square regressions in A with corresponding color codes to indicate body mass. It notes the thylacine position within Metatheria as a sister group to other carnivorous marsupials. I did find it interesting to look at. If Gab can explain it further what we're looking at, then she can go on. I'm going to put it on Instagram regardless because it is cool to look at, but I can't explain this thing.
Well, what they basically did, the line, it just shows the relationships of like the line of best fit. It's used to show how closely related each thing is based on their features. And I guess they use body weight and brain volume. And then on image B, that's a cladogram. So basically, it kind of demonstrates how closely related things are or what they share, so features that they share. I'm not sure what they use in their cladogram because you said it, but I went right over my head.
But it's a mouthful.
But typically,
literally, it's a mouthful.
It would be something like a newer innovation or a newer feature that a species would have, and then it'll show like what all of the organisms that would have it, that would share it, versus like the ones that did not, and set them apart. It's way more complex than that, but some people call them phylogenetic trees, but they're not phylogenetic trees because technically they're different. But yeah.
And I remember learning about the difference between this and phylogenetic trees and just kill me. Just kill me on the spot. It was not for me.
Oh, the word I was looking for was derived characteristics. Sorry, I had to look that up. So like the characteristics that didn't exist in older organisms but exist in newer ones. Yeah.
Okay. See, I knew Gabby would be good at explaining that. I can look at it and be like, this is cool knowledge I want to share, but can I explain it to you?
I had to dig deep into the recesses of my brain for that. And I'm pretty sure there's someone who can explain it way better and way more clearly.
Sometimes you got to dig deep into your crevices.
I don't think...
the crevices of your brain.
I don't think... It's just phrasing.
Sometimes you got to just get in there and really clean out that knowledge from your crevices. I'm sorry. Moving on to next topic. Same topic, but different. Let's bring Professor Andrew Pask into the picture. Professor Andrew is from the University of Melbourne and is currently part of a team trying to create ways to resurrect the thylacine using DNA from the animal supported by genetic samples from its relative, the numbat. Didn't I say this gave me Jurassic Park vibes? Yes, you heard me correctly. Resurrection, baby.
You sound like a preacher on Sunday.
Can I get an amen? Can I get a resurrection? It sounded like I said, can I get an erection?
I know. I'm going to have to edit that out.
No, it's resurrection. Leave it in.
Okay.
But it did sound funny. So researchers at DNA Zoo Australia have mapped the genome of the numbat for the first time, which is awesome in itself because it's a big milestone towards the conservation of the marsupial. that's now only found in small areas of Western Australia. But it's also awesome because this announcement comes a new suggestion that perhaps the numbat's DNA could be used somewhat as a blueprint to potentially bring the thylacine back from the dead. One method to do so that scientists are exploring as a possibility is to take the genome of a living species and edit its DNA to more closely resemble that of an extinct relative. So to do this, you have to have an intact genetic blueprint of the animal that is extinct. Andrew Pask's team sequenced the thylacine genome in 2017 from a juvenile specimen that was held in Museum's Victoria's collection. Andrew says it's one of the best genome builds that we have for an extinct animal. It's in a lot of little tiny pieces when we get it from an extinct specimen so that the DNA is broken up. The problem with any mammal genome, not just the thylacine, is that half of our genome is made up of repeated sequences. So like adenine, cytosine, guanine, thymine, different patterns of nucleotide bases. He goes on to say, those bits are really hard to put back together when you're building your puzzle, particularly because we don't have the picture on the box of the puzzle. We don't know what the thylacine genome is meant to look like. And then I have a little picture of a numbat.
It's there. So cute. It looks like a shrunk down version.
It looks like a shrunk down version. It does. With its little reverse streakies. It is a cute little thing.
But
essentially,
this would be a lot of guesswork. Like they're going to make some sort of creature.
Oh, so much guesswork.
It's going to be something. Will it be what they want? Well, we'll find out.
So much guesswork. And essentially the numbat genome could help us fill in those pieces of the puzzle. Thylacines and numbats had a common ancestor that was alive around 35 million to 41 million years ago. The director of the DNA Zoo Australia, Parwinder Kaur, says that that's not a long time in the evolutionary timescale. So Kaur theorizes that numbats and thylacines could potentially share around 95% of their DNA. But I did say theorize. So the numbat, being a living creature, could fill in those gaps where the blueprint is not complete. Pask says that using the, I don't know how to say this, CRISPR-Cas9.
Yeah, CRISPR-Cas. CRISPR-Cas is really, really, really... Oh, I should do an episode on that.
You should, because I don't know nothing about it. Apparently CRISPR-Cas, which Gab knows what it is, but I did not, is a Nobel Prize winning genome editing method.
It has
She looks excited.
Well, it potentially has really big possibilities for genomics and just all sorts of possibilities for potentially treating different genetic things in the future. Not anytime soon. That would it's kind of dicey. Once you start experimenting with things like that, it can be a little bit shady.
Yeah, as in Jurassic Park. Like, have we learned nothing? I'm excited for what the future holds, though. Maybe I can get like a little dino, like a little blue, and it can eat people on command. That's not, anyways, so back to the thing. Genome editing method, that it's possible to turn all of the bits that look different to look like thylacine DNA. But do not get too excited. Yes, the two species are genetically similar. However, the numbat isn't exactly an ideal candidate for gene editing. We wouldn't use the numbat because of its specialization as an anteater. We would probably use another, like a Tasmanian devil or a Dunnart. They eat meat, so they're going to have a much more thylacine-like digestive system, Park says. He also says it would take hundreds of years to go through and do it with our current technology, referring to changing all the different sequences to thylacine DNA. He says we would need to turn a marsupial DNA-containing cell into a living marsupial, and we don't have that technology developed yet. What a bummer. I was super excited for a second, I'm not going to lie.
I'm sure someone will figure it out.
Hopefully. We can only hope, maybe. I don't know, if you're into that sort of thing. And if you're wondering, Bryn, have we had any success with de-extinctions before? Were you wondering that? Anybody?
Yes.
Just look at Jurassic Park. Need I say more? Full circle. That's the end of the episode, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. But it honestly depends on what your idea of success is. So what about clones? Exhibit A, Dolly the sheep. She was created using the somatic cell nuclear transfer. Essentially, you take a nucleus, which contains the genome from the cell of an extinct animal, and insert it into an egg of a living species that has previously had its own nucleus removed. That's something. It sure is something. She was born on July 5th, 1996. I'm just a little bit older than her. Well, she's dead, but I was just a little bit older than her. Sweet little girl. And she had 3 mamas. She had one mama that gave the egg, one mama that gave the DNA, and a third mama that carried the cloned embryo to full term.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
We love women supporting women. I love a girl's girl. This method only worked if the animal had recently died. So, of course, it couldn't work for the thylacine. And Dolly survived until February 14th. I didn't realize when I wrote that, but Valentine's Day. She died on Valentine's Day, 2003. And she lived a full life. She had babies, 5 in total, a set of twins and a set of triplets. And she lived what appeared to be a good life until she was euthanized due to lung disease. But look how cute that sweet girl is.
Aww.
Those eyes, though. I can't. The beady little eyes on sheep and on goats. It gets to me. But she is super cute. And I'm not going to continue saying I'm going to post pictures of whatever I mention on here. You all understand. But Dolly isn't the only animal that this method has been tried on. Scientists have, in fact, tried this on an actually extinct species. In 2003, a Pyrenean ibex was cloned. A Pyrenean ibex is a subspecies of the Iberian wild goat that went extinct when Celia, who was the last known living species, was killed when she fell from a tree.
Okay, that is such a freaking goat thing to do.
That is a goat thing to do, but poor baby.
Why are you in the fucking tree? You're the last one. Oh my God, that is such a goat
That's what goats
thing.
do. You find them in the weirdest fucking places. Like, why? Why does evolution and their genetics make them go, need height?
We
Get
had
on top
goats.
of pointy things.
It's not even just like climby. Like they will eat anything. Like my goat would eat cloth, the wiry things on brooms, wood.
They want to die.
Rope. I mean, genuinely, if they can put it in their mouth, they're going to try to fucking eat it. It's not great.
See, goats want to die. Another animal that wants to die is cows. My stepdad has a bunch of cows. And I love cows. I've fed baby calves before, and they're like little puppies. They're so sweet. And nobody come for me, but cows are fucking dumb. Respectfully, they want to die. They want to kill themselves. Like, we've had cows get their heads stuck in trees, and all they had to do was lift up. All you had to do was lift up to survive, and you're just tugging backwards. Instead of lifting your head up, you're just continuously tugging it backwards. And then we got to go get your head out. And it's such an easy fix, but you would literally lay there and die. Because you just don't know. Like, and I've tried to direct one through a fence before, and it's just, let me run here, let me run here, let me run into the fence. And I'm like, girlfriend, there is a hole right in front of you. I love them so much, but they're not with it. I love all animals, but cows, not with it. Super cute to look at, super cuddly. Or maybe I've only seen duds. I don't know. Anyways, the team was able to successfully clone Celia, and they revived the subspecies from extinction. Except the success was temporary and very short-lived because after a few moments, the newborn animal died from having a defect in the lung.
Aw.
I know, that is so sad. There is a project run by Professor Mike Archer that is called the Lazarus Project, and they are taking a similar approach to bring back the southern gastric brooding frog. Mike Archer is a paleontologist at the University of New South Wales. The last frog specimen that we know of died in 1983, but the team apparently has some very well-preserved tissues from some specimens. Side note, these frogs are native to Queensland. I just thought I would add that in there. Shout out to Queensland. This project has been able to successfully produce early-stage embryos, But so far, we don't have any clones that have been able to survive to become tadpoles or to progress into adult frogs. But I love me some frogs. What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Nothing. Of course, there is large debate on whether humans should even be doing this or whether or not it is, quote unquote, playing God. And we aren't really going to dive into that because I think everyone should be entitled to an opinion. But I do briefly want to give you all something to think about when deciding on your opinion on the matter. This is like a little Brenna's brain section. So, and I'm when I ask these things, I'm not swaying you either way. I could give a shit less what you think, respectfully. But I am curious. What you think. So, like, what if man was the reason that the species went extinct? Like, instead of a meteor coming down or oxygen levels being too low or food that the species ate no longer being available on Earth, what if the only reason whatsoever for the extinction is because man hunted it to extinction? And then some could have the argument that humans played God by exterminating certain species altogether. That sways the brain a little bit. For example, the carrier pigeon loss of habitat was due to human interference and then commercial exploitation of pigeon meat. There were billions of this species and we literally brought them to extinction. So, just chew the fat for a little bit and get back to me on that because I want to hear what y'all think. I don't even know what I think about it, honestly. I have no idea. Science, Brenna, is like, that sounds really fucking cool. But then I'm also like, are we thinking about the possibilities of what bringing an animal back could do to like the environment? I don't know. But in the case of like a carrier pigeon, it would still be alive today. We assume. We don't know for certain if humans didn't fuck with it. So it is something to think about. And if we did bring back thylacine, Pask thinks that it is one of the best candidates we have for de-extinction because of the ecological reasons. So it could play a very big role in stabilizing ecosystems. A good example, Archer lists that the successful reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone National Park in the United States. The habitat that thylacine thrived in is still there. The animals they fed on still exist. They could integrate successfully right back into everyday life, in theory, of course. Archer led the pack in 1999 after the Australian Museum's efforts to revive the thylacine before was brought to a halt in 2005. But the time is now. It's time to bring it back, I think. Anyways. But then, Brenna, what if it's not gone? What if the rumors are true and it's not extinct? And that's where I stand right now. So let's fast forward on our journey to present time. You all didn't even know we were in the past, did you? While researching topics, I like to listen to the tube videos about the topic while I'm at work and just to get my mind in the right headspace to write. Well, while I was tubing, I stumbled upon a tube short, many tube shorts actually, but one in particular caught my eye because the images, I was like, whoa. And then they were like, whoa. And we were like, whoa. And if they are real, they're very, very convincing. I'm going to add the link below for Gabby. I'll add it for you all, but since Gab doesn't exactly have time to go click a link, images.
All of them are like really convincing, except the one of the head. That just looks like a little puppet, but it could be the shadows. But it does look really convincing. Unless someone took the time to paint a fucking dog, I'd buy that. But I didn't see the tail.
I think it's real.
I need to see the tail. I feel like the tail would be the true
tail. Giveaway.
Is the tail in the video?
No. It's just photographs. It's not an actual video. It's the video describing the photographs. I worded that poorly. It was shot on an iPhone, but it's just these pictures. So the photographs are from 2024, where an American has allegedly photographed a thylacine alive. The American named Zach was visiting his family in Tasmania with his father when they saw what appeared to be an injured dog on the side of the road. The dog was not a dog at all. It was a thylacine, allegedly. So Zach sends these photos to a wildlife biologist named Forrest Galante on the tube, and you can watch the YouTube video of their interview. It's a whopping 55 minutes long, so I'm going to summarize it.
But quickly, sorry, don't mean to interrupt, but So I'm on the page with the video, and the last photo that I said it wasn't convincing, it is confirmed fake. So it's the side profile with the mouth open, and it was originally an unfinished head for a statue of a Tasmanian tiger that was photoshopped to have a different ear fur color and flipped the face to like look the other way. So that one is fake.
Well, if that one is fake, then I am now convinced that all of Zach's photos are fake.
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to summarize the YouTube video I watched. So it's apparently this guy is famous. Shout out to you, Forrest. I have a cousin named Forrest. It's a good name. He's a wildlife biologist. He's also on the Tube. He's on TV, and I think Animal Planet, maybe. But he is interviewing this guy. And the first thing that Forrest mentions is a red flag, is that the guy will not show his face whatsoever on Zoom. Which could be he just doesn't like being on the internet, you know. But another red flag. So he's just describing his experience. He says he has an aunt who lives in Australia, in Tasmania, and they're going to visit there, and they were on their way back. They were headed to the airport at 11:30 at night when they saw what appeared to be a dog on the side of the road, which is the first picture I have here. So they stopped to look and see this dog, and then it got up and ran away, showing in his other pictures there. See, some of those pictures look convincing, but then that one's confirmed fake. So I'm like, what the shit?
So apparently someone named Gaming Beaver on YouTube debunked all of the photos as fake. So that is a rabbit hole that we'd have to go down. But yeah.
This is it happened so fast.
I'm sorry.
2 weeks ago, it happened so fast. But another thing that did kind of give it away that Zach was full of shit. Zach, you broke my heart. You broke my fucking heart. But he says that he took a non-stop flight from New York to Hobart, Australia, which is not a thing. There is no, unless you just got big money. I cannot find a one-trip flight from New York to
Oh, there is a full, like a 13-minute video by Gaming Beaver cracking the Tasmanian tiger footage. So if anyone wants to watch that.
Just rip my fucking heart in two. Just rip it in two. Go watch it, and then when you're done, just rip my heart out and fucking stomp on it.
I'm sorry.
I will never, not you, Gab. I will never forgive you, Zach. No wonder you didn't want to show your face on the internet. Who does this to the scientific community? Spit. I spit in your general direction. Not really, because I'd be spitting in my house. But I forgive you, Zach, I guess. But why? Like, if you ain't even going to show your face, then why are you going to get the scientific community in such an uproar? I was excited, and I was filled full of joy and happiness.
I'm sorry.
And it's okay. I still do think it's alive, even without Zach's stuff. Because there are other instances where people have had encounters with it. But it's always grainy photos. You know, it's always like the Bigfoot shit. Like, where's the beef?
Oh, man. Okay, so this is a 3-part series that he did debunking it. That shit's wild.
I hope Zach is ashamed of himself. But we'll never know because we don't know who Zach is because he wouldn't show his face.
Okay, so what do you think? Real or not? Alive or not alive?
Alive.
Before we book these flights to Tasmania, we need to know.
I think the Tasmanian tiger is still alive. And I do think that we will be able to view it in our lifetimes.
Okay.
I'm ashamed of Zach, though. I can't say it enough. I can't voice this enough. If you're a listener, Zach, don't. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. You just hurt my little heart. But write to me and let me know what you guys think. I think it might be my new favorite type of animal, but I don't know because I really love hippos. I don't have time to decide right now, nor do I have to. It's fine. Bye guys. And if you see something weird, run. And if you don't run, record it and send it to me so I can write a story about it. Don't let your meatloaf. Stay mysterious.
Adios, Mysterios.
Bye.
Bye.